You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the 117th annual Old Settlers Picnic being held in Uniontown, Kansas.
Also, the Joplin Police Department releases the names of those who died in a motorcycle accident.
We've got some clouds out there and thunderstorm chances on each side of this camera in Joplin. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy.
I'm Chris Warner. 7 o'clock on this Tuesday morning. We've been getting some much needed rain out there. Unfortunately, it's still going to be hot. You'd think, boy, you know, it's
right.
September, there's some rain, the temperatures would be better. They're not going to be better.
No, it's still summer as far as we can see.
Did you have a good Labor Day?
Oh, I had a lovely Labor Day. I went floating. I had a great time.
That was good weather to do that yesterday.
Perfect.
It was nice and warm and hot, and it's not September-like at all. And unfortunately, even though, you know, it should have been the last, day of summer, it certainly wasn't. It's still gonna be hot, but at least you had some fun, right?
Absolutely. And in celebration of Labor Day, Uniontown, Kansas hosted their annual Old Settlers Picnic. Hundreds were in attendance as they conducted parades, a vintage car show, a picnic, and a carnival.
KOAM's Jasmine Knight was one of the hundreds in attendance.
Today was the last day of Uniontown's Old Settlers Picnic, as it celebrates its 117th year. The picnic has taken place during Labor Day weekend since 1905, and each year the picnic just grows bigger and bigger.
As you can see, there's lots of people here. Most of us know each other. It's just great fun. We just do it once a year and everybody gets together and has a good time.
This year, the 3-day picnic event featured multiple parades, a youth rodeo, a bass tournament, 5K run, and so much more. In addition, various vendors and food trucks were set up. Guests could also play different games and other activities. Overall, everyone had a blast.
I mean, just getting everybody together and showing support for the smaller people instead of, the bigger stores and helping out everybody. That's big for smaller companies like us.
The Old Settlers Picnic even succeeded at their biggest goal, which is to bring the community together.
I would say probably half of them are from out of town. They come from Fort Scott, they come from Girard, Pittsburgh, they come from a lot of different places.
Just the turnout. I mean, it's a pretty small community and it looks like just about everybody in the community is here to support it, so that's a good turnout.
So even if you missed it this year, be sure to check out Old Settlers Picnic every Labor Day weekend. Reporting in Uniontown, Jasmine Knight, KOAM News.
For additional information about next year's picnic or how to be a part of the events, simply go to KOAMnewsnow.com and click on the link.
Absolutely. It looked like a lot of fun out there.
It was
the weather
was
great yesterday. It was
perfect.
hot, but it was great for that. Today, it's still hot, but we got some rain chances at least. Live look at our camera, 7th and range line. You can see some clearing, some clouds, and that is because from the Joplin perspective, we have rain over there. We have rain over there, but not right here, at least not at this moment. MoDOT camera 20th and range line also showing us some cloudy skies, drying out for right now, but again, more rain is on the way across the area, and here it is on the Skywatch Storm Tracker. You can see some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. The good news is no strong or severe thunderstorms out there, and that's unlikely through the morning, but later today we could see some. This batch of showers, I'm telling you, I feel like the Skywatch Storm Tracker is almost broken because it is almost stalled out in the western parts of southeast Kansas. See, it's like it's hit a brick wall right about at Chanute, but it will eventually continue to progress eastward and bring us a few more shower and thunderstorm chances through the morning. This is what I'm talking about. Later this evening, additional thunderstorm development is likely, and some of those could be strong, low-grade severe with some small hail and perhaps some gusty winds out there, so it's something we will keep an eye on for you. We get our morning started again, scattered showers, thunderstorms, and the other part of this, windy. We're talking wind gusts today, 30-35 miles an hour, and that's outside of any thunderstorms we may see. And we're warm, back up to about 85 by 11 this morning. A few isolated showers will be possible as we go through the afternoon. Most of us will be dry, but a stray shower or two will be possible. It won't be until about 6-7 o'clock. Extreme southeastern Kansas, Missouri, and then into Oklahoma, we'll see additional thunderstorm development. And this is when we could see some stronger storms. And these will hang out with us through the evening hours and into the early overnight hours before they eventually begin to die on out before sunrise tomorrow. I'll leave us hot and dry for our Wednesday as well. We're going to take another full look at your forecast, tell you how long the heat holds on and when we might get to September-like temperatures here in a few more minutes. Caitlin?
One man is dead after a crash in Woodson County, Kansas. Wayne Faulkner of Yates Center was northbound on U-75 turning left onto 130th Road when David Harrier of Meridian, Kansas entered the southbound lane to pass a Nissan Pathfinder which was behind Faulkner. That's when Harrier struck Faulkner's car in the rear left corner, causing it to rotate counterclockwise. Faulkner's passenger front wheel gouged the asphalt, causing the car to overturn multiple times and cause it to rest in an upright position on all four tires in the west ditch. Faulkner was pronounced dead on the scene, while his passenger was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. And Joplin police released the names of 2 people killed in a crash involving 3 motorcycles Saturday night. Police say 2 motorcyclists, 18-year-old Colton Goddard of Welch, Oklahoma, and 20-year-old Taryn Morris of Miami were recklessly speeding down Main Street when they ran into another motorcyclist, 60-year-old Mark McGowan of Miami. Morris and McGowan died in the crash. Goddard was not hurt but has been charged with 2 counts of felony murder. Up next, a number of populous cities advanced the creation of alternative response teams to help with mental health calls.
And later, we'll meet 3 generations of a family that are all going to the same college. We're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Be right back, but first, got another live look from the Washington Family Hope Center over in Joplin, as today is their open house to celebrate the building's latest renovation and expansion.
In Health Watch this morning, a number of the nation's most populous cities are advancing the creation and usage of alternative response teams featuring paramedics instead of police to address nonviolent mental health calls. Jackie Ibanez takes a look at what advocates say is driving the changes.
Efforts to tackle the nation's ongoing mental health crisis are seeing some dynamic shifts, with a growing number of communities across the country deploying paramedics and other healthcare professionals to nonviolent mental health calls instead of the police.
I get to meet them in a spot that empowers them for their voice to be heard.
According to research analyzed by the Associated Press, more than a dozen of the 20 most populous cities in America have or are creating these alternative response teams.
We're also seeing people who are struggling with homelessness as well as substance abuse.
And while they go by different names, from New York's Be Heard initiative to the STAR program in Denver and beyond, team members say their goal is to not only keep people having a mental health episode safe, but to get them to the best possible location to assist in their recovery.
What Health One can do, our co-responder program can do, is send people to homeless shelters, to clinics, to outpatient-based programs.
Advocates of these teams also say crew members have more time to spend addressing mental health calls than most police.
They are very proficient in de-escalating clients who are in behavioral or emotional crisis, and they have the time to spend. If that takes 2 hours, they can spend 2 hours. An engine or an aid car can't spend that time. They have to get back in service.
Meanwhile, critics argue some alternative programs need to boost funding to increase the number of calls they can respond to. And a federal appeals court is reviving a lawsuit by 3 doctors who say the Food and Drug Administration overstepped its authority in a campaign against treating COVID-19 with the anti-parasite drug ivermectin. The drug is commonly used to treat parasites in livestock, but ivermectin can also be described for humans, and it has been championed by some conservatives as a treatment for COVID-19. The FDA has not approved ivermectin as a COVID-19 treatment because studies have not proven it is effective. The ruling, which came down Friday from the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeal in New Orleans, allows the doctors to proceed with their lawsuit, contending that the FDA's campaign exceeded the agency's authority under federal law. In an effort to address the nation's ongoing loneliness epidemic, a number of restaurants and nonprofits are joining forces to offer older Americans a place to get some free food, along with a large side of socialization. Jackie Ibanez takes a closer look.
It might just look like an ordinary meal. But besides food, some restaurants across a growing number of communities nationwide are serving up smiles as they partner with local programs to help aging Americans combat surging rates of loneliness.
Since the pandemic, isolation of people 60 and older has gone up an unprecedented amount, 200%.
One initiative in particular underway in New Hampshire is called the Dine Out program. It's run by the Hillsborough County Meals on Wheels and aims to entice people 60 years old and up to leave their homes for free food and fellowship at select restaurants.
Our dietitian works on a menu, and seniors 60 and older can sign up at no cost and get a Dine Out Club card. Go to one of these participating restaurants, order a nutritious meal, and socialize.
Earlier this year, the U.S. Surgeon General said feelings of loneliness can be as bad for your health as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day.
I had just moved into my apartment after having my house for 30 years. I was sitting there and I'd watch TV, eat. It was kind of lonely.
Some participants say the opportunity to get a free nutritious meal is already helping them establish better social connections, avoid some financial stress, and even lose weight.
According to data collected by the Associated Press, restaurants in more than 24 states have already partnered with Meals on Wheels or similar nonprofits as of this year to help fight loneliness.
Take a look at this view from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. We've got a beautiful start out there, at least from the sky's perspective. We've still got some showers and thunderstorms across parts of the area this morning. In fact, let's take a quick look at the radar, and there they are. We're seeing some redevelopment just right along into the west of I-49 and almost right along Highway 69 on the Kansas side, and additional showers and thunderstorms out to the west in southeast Kansas, continuing to slowly push on off to the east. We'll deal with these through the morning. We'll take another look at your forecast in a few more minutes. And coming up, from Imagine Dragons' newest song in a video game to a Japanese boy band battling a mega monster, we're going to have the latest in today's Hollywood Minute. But first, another live look from the Washington Family Hope Center in Joplin. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:17 on this Tuesday morning. Look at these clouds. The sky looks great as Joplin is sandwiched right between thunderstorms to the east, thunderstorms to the west, and new ones developing right along this line almost. We are sitting at 77, a warm start. Feels like 79. Dew points up there at 66. Temperatures around the region warm. You can see the orange colors before this zoomed in, where it's just this warm swath with these gusty southerly winds in here. We're set at 77, Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Nevada, 76, Lamar and Carthage, 78, Miami, Chautauqua, Neodesha, and 79 in Parsons at this hour. We will remain warm today, and we'll have some scattered thunderstorm chances continuing through the morning hours, and we'll make it to the mid-80s by 11. The other side of this, see the little wind icons? Yeah, we're looking at gusts up to 30 to 35 miles an hour out there. We will stay breezy through the day. Isolated showers heading into the afternoon. Most of us will be dry, but there will be a few spotty showers. The other side of this, mid-90s for our highs. And then in extreme southeast Kansas and then into Missouri and Oklahoma, additional thunderstorm development later this evening, and some of those could be strong, low-grade severe with some small hail and gusty winds, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. Otherwise, we'll be mostly cloudy, back in the low 70s and still breezy as we head into the overnight. We stay hot all the way through the weekend in the 90s. Pop-up storms possible Thursday and Friday, and then we'll see more pop-up storms Sunday and Monday, and as we head into next week, our temperatures finally make it down to September levels, even slightly below, so we go low to mid 80s. Well, the first day of school is a big day for anybody, but for one Wisconsin family, this year is extra special. That's because 3 generations of one family will be attending the campus together this year. Taj Mahal reports.
It's kind of crazy.
3 generations,
one college campus.
I'm so proud.
For Mia Carter and Samantha Malcheski, the first day of school at Carthage College was a family affair. This year, they'll be sharing the campus with their mom and grandma, who both decided to join the School of Business this year. Mom, Amy Malcheski, has worked at the college for years. She knew she wanted to pursue a degree of her own and got the idea for her mom, Christy Schwan, to join the same program.
I just feel really proud to be watching my daughters grow up and become more mature and have new experiences, but then also to see my mom accomplish something that she's always wanted to, and then even to accomplish something that I've always wanted to myself. I'm just I could probably burst. I'm so proud right now.
Following retirement, Christy says pursuing her master's is something she always wanted to do, and she's thrilled to share that experience with her daughter and granddaughters.
It's just fun to be able to see them here when I'm on campus.
The inspiration to dream big crosses all three of these generations.
My mom raised me, obviously, to face my fears, right? I always say I think I'm afraid every day of my life, but I just do things anyway, and my mom taught me that.
It's just so amazing to look up to that. That's literally what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be able to do whatever I want.
And while learning lessons herself this semester, Christy hopes to pass along a lesson of her own to her girls.
I want them to know that age is meaningless.
Absolutely incredible. All four ladies say they're excited to share the year and maybe have a study date or two. I don't know if I could have handled my parents being on campus with me. Would have been a little bit odd. Neat at first maybe, but a little bit odd after the first couple of weeks. Well, coming up, we're going to take you to Joplin to learn more about an event known as Mania Monday. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:17 on this Tuesday morning. Look at these clouds. The sky looks great as Joplin is sandwiched right between thunderstorms to the east, thunderstorms to the west, and new ones developing right along this line almost. We are sitting at 77, a warm start. Feels like 79. Dew points up there at 66. Temperatures around the region warm. You can see the orange colors before this zoomed in, where it's just this warm swath with these gusty southerly winds in here. We're set at 77, Pittsburgh, Fort Scott, Nevada, 76, Lamar and Carthage, 78, Miami, Chautauqua, Neodesha, and 79 in Parsons at this hour. We will remain warm today, and we'll have some scattered thunderstorm chances continuing through the morning hours, and we'll make it to the mid-80s by 11. The other side of this, see little wind icons? Yeah, we're looking at gusts up to 30 to 35 miles an hour out there. We will stay breezy through the day. Isolated showers heading into the afternoon. Most of us will be dry, but there will be a few spotty showers. The other side of this, mid-90s for our highs. And then in extreme southeast Kansas and then into Missouri and Oklahoma, additional thunderstorm development later this evening, and some of those could be strong, low-grade severe with some small hail and gusty winds, so we'll keep an eye on that for you. Otherwise, we'll be mostly cloudy, back in the low 70s and still breezy as we head into the overnight. We stay hot all the way through the weekend in the 90s. Pop-up storms possible Thursday and Friday, and then we'll see more pop-up storms Sunday and Monday, and as we head into next week, our temperatures finally make it down to September levels, even slightly below, so we go low to mid-80s. Well, the first day of school is a big day for anybody, but for one Wisconsin family, this year is extra special. That's because 3 generations of one family will be attending the campus together this year. Taj Mahal reports.
It's kind of crazy.
3 generations, one college campus.
I'm so proud.
For Mia Carter and Samantha Malcheski, the first day of school at Carthage College was a family affair. This year, they'll be sharing the campus with their mom and grandma, who both decided to join the School of Business this year. Mom, Amy Malcheski, has worked at the college for years. She knew she wanted to pursue a degree of her own and got the idea for her mom, Christy Schwan, to join the same program.
I just feel really proud to be watching my daughters grow up and become more mature and have new experiences, but then also to see my mom accomplish something that she's always wanted to, and then even to accomplish something that I've always wanted to myself. I'm just I could probably burst. I'm so proud right now.
Following retirement, Christy says pursuing her master's is something she always wanted to do, and she's thrilled to share that experience with her daughter and granddaughters.
It's just fun to be able to see them here when I'm on campus.
The inspiration to dream big crosses all three of these generations.
My mom raised me, obviously, to face my fears, right? I always say, I think I'm afraid every day of my life, but I just do things anyway, and my mom taught me that.
It's just so amazing to look up to that. Like, that's literally what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be able to do whatever I want.
And while learning lessons herself this semester, Christy hopes to pass along a lesson of her own to her girls.
I want them to know that age is meaningless.
Absolutely incredible. All four ladies say they're excited to share the year and maybe have a study date or two. I don't know if I could have handled my parents being on campus with me. Would have been a little bit odd. Neat at first maybe, but a little bit odd after the first couple of weeks. Well, coming up, we're going to take you to Joplin to learn more about an event known as Mania Monday. We'll be right back.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:29 a.m. I'm Caitlin O'Shaughnessy. For the Labor Day holiday, Uniontown, Kansas hosted its annual Old Settlers Picnic. The picnic celebrated 117 years with multiple events over the course of the weekend. Hundreds were in attendance as well, all laughing and enjoying time as a community for the holiday.
It's just always been fun. All the community gets together, has a good time, has a picnic in the park. We have vendors. We had a parade already, so we have a car show going on, and just all kinds of fun stuff.
For more information about their events, head on over to KOAMnewsnow.com. And school was out for the Labor Day holiday, and some Joplin students spent the afternoon skating. Roller City Entertainment hosted Mania Monday as a way to provide some fun on their day off while staying active.
We like to offer this kind of event because, school's out. We want to offer a safe and fun experience for the kids and the families in Joplin.
The roller rink offered half-price admissions for Monday Mania.
Well, we've got a few scattered showers and thunderstorms out there across the area. Right now, we're dealing mainly with showers, but you can see a stray lightning bolt or two up there. This activity right along 69 to 49 has just recently developed as the activity a little further west. Remember, it just kind of hit a brick wall at Chanute, and it is beginning to die out. So that will continue to die out, but we'll watch this activity as it develops, and it will continue to give us the opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms through the morning. Then later this evening, we do have the possibility of we have additional thunderstorm development later. Some of those could be strong, possibly low-grade severe with some small hail and perhaps some gusty winds out there. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. Otherwise, this morning, scattered showers, a few thunderstorms, breezy, warm, reaching mid-80s, and wind gusts today 30 to 35 miles an hour out there. We'll have another complete look at your forecast here in just a few more minutes. Caitlin?
Thanks, Chris. Well, Fort Scott National Historic Site held an exploration of the labors and leisure on the 1840s frontier post. The purpose of the event was to get outside and enjoy the weather for Labor Day while learning some history. It included live music, historic yard games, and a variety of demonstrations and interpretive programs.
So today was really kind of low-key. We had a couple of living history stations. We had a musical program earlier today at 11 a.m. and then we had a couple of guided tours.
The park grounds are open daily, a half hour before sunrise until a half hour after sunset. And Halloween is right around the corner, and we're starting to see some Forest States residents already preparing for the festivities. The old Katy Hospital in Parsons is being transformed into a haunted house again this year. Project Fear is celebrating their 26th haunt season. The plan to kick it off on spooky season September 29th.
Washington School was moving out, and we've always wanted to come to the hospital to do the spook house here, but we formed the Historical Society. So then we kind of leased it out to Project Fear so they can do that haunted house here.
The Katy Hospital was built in the early 1920s, which gives it the perfect spooky aesthetic for Halloween. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Charlene Patton joins us all the way down from Topeka to show us how to make some cheesy stuffed breakfast muffins.
And as mentioned, we're watching those scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. We'll have another look at your forecast when we come back. But first, another live look from the Washington Family Hope Center in Joplin, as today they're holding an open house to celebrate their recent renovations. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. Once again, our good friend Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission. Thank you for coming down every week for us, because you always make something incredible, delicious, and what I like most is it's healthy and tasty all at the same time. And so we've been blessed with so many great recipes, and you've got something new for us here.
That's right, because September is National Breakfast Month. So we've got this wonderful, it's called a loaded cheesy muffin. And it's got a lot of protein in it. It has vegetables in it. I think it makes, even after you've baked them, it makes a great snack for kids again for after school. But you're going to do our liquid ingredients here.
Okay.
We've got an egg. You're going to add vegetable oil, soy milk here. And then I'm going to add this in for you. This is bacon drippings.
Okay.
That we're adding in to give it some of our extra flavor here. And what I did was I've cooked brown 4 strips of bacon that's going to go into this mixture. And so we just removed about a tablespoon of that to put in there for a little extra flavor.
Okay.
So you'll get to mix in that, and then I'm going to do the dry ingredients. We've got the flour in here, and I'm going to add our baking powder, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, little bit of sugar in for these muffins, and stir this up. And then we've got green onion. We'll add that in here. Oh, you're busy there, aren't you? Look at you. And then we have red bell pepper that's going to make lots of pretty colors in our. And then we're going to add the bacon. And we are adding that now because we've talked about it before, but see that flour coats it, separates it. So now when you add the liquid ingredients, we're going to stir that. And with muffin recipes, you want to just stir it until you don't see any more of the flour. Don't want to stir it too much. So we'll stir that a little bit there. And then what we're going to do is line muffin tins. And what I did here was, this actually makes 12 muffins.
Oh, wow.
But I just used a smaller pan here so that we could see. I like to use the muffin dipper here that we can take in, and we'll put that in there, put that there. And then this is American processed cheese. We're just going to stick that down in there. And then when that bakes, you've got the cheese in there, you've got the bacon, you've got your vegetables from the green peppers, or from the bell peppers. Everything is loaded cheese.
You
and
are
there
right.
you go. Bake that, and you have wonderful muffins to serve.
They look amazing, and this is just another one of those really easy but really good recipes. And of course, if somebody wants to find this recipe, where do they need to go?
They should go to kansassoybeans.org, or they can also call our 800 number, 877-KS-SOYBEAN, and we will send them all the recipes for September.
All right, Charlene, thanks again so much for coming down. We really appreciate it. And of course, if you missed any of this, you know where to go, KOAMnewsnow.com. We'll be back with more right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:40 now on this Tuesday morning. We are still mild out there, getting some sunshine in Joplin, but more showers and storms developing. 77 feels like 79 with that dew point up there at 66, south breeze at 13. The gusts have died down for now, but they will return to the tune of 30 to 35 miles an hour across the region. Take a look at this. This strong southerly breeze created a nice big warm ridge across the area. So we've got 79 in Parsons, 78 Fort Scott, Pittsburgh, Nevada, 79 Neodesha, 77 Miami, and 76 in Neosho, where some of those showers were just exiting to our east. It's a little cooler, 73 Monette and 72 in Cassville, but more are on the way through the morning. So we've got the scattered showers and thunderstorms, breezy conditions, and warm mid-80s by late morning. And then we could see a few isolated to widely scattered showers through the afternoon. Most of us will remain dry and breezy and hot. as we go back into the mid-90s for highs today. We'll have additional thunderstorm development along in extreme southeast Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Some of those could be strong, low-grade severe with some small hail and gusty winds, so we'll be here watching that for you. Well, otherwise, see those thunderstorms and back into the low to mid-70s overnight. The heat's going to stick with us through at least Sunday. Pop-up storms possible Thursday, Friday, and then Sunday and Monday as well. But as we head into the next week, our September temperatures finally arrive. In fact, we'll be a little below average in some cases as we go low to mid-80s to kick off the next work week. And look at these lows back into the 50s. It's going to be great next week. We just got to get from here to there. That's a quick check of your forecast. Now here's Caitlin with a check of Consumer Watch.
Thanks, Chris. Well, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram may start paid tiers on their services in countries across the pond. Reports say Meta may let users in European countries pay in order to avoid ads on their feeds. The paid subscription offer could be used to help Meta overcome concerns in the European Union about data privacy and ads. The move would be the first time Meta has moved from its single free platform with ads. Meta has faced previous strife in the EU over use of its data. The company was fined $1.3 billion for transferring European data to the U.S. against regulations. And Elon Musk, owner of X, formerly known as Twitter, is blaming a nonprofit group for the platform's loss of revenue. Musk posted on the social media site that the Anti-Defamation League is falsely accusing him of being anti-Semitic. Musk is threatening to file a defamation lawsuit if the group continues its accusations. Musk says U.S. ad revenue on X is still down 60%, mainly due to pressure advertisers are facing from the ADL. Back in May, the ADL published a report saying it found more than 5,000 instances of anti-Semitism on X. And the free application for federal student aid has some new changes that will affect students and their parents for the 2024 to 2025 school year. The new changes are meant to make applying easier to understand for family. Soon, students will be able to add 20 colleges to their FAFSA instead of the previous 10. To simplify the process for families, the application will have fewer questions, and more applicants will also be able to have their financial information directly transferred from the IRS, which could cut out major delays in gaining student aid. And many Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, hurt in part by the inflation, along with the rising costs of borrowing and housing. And it's not just low-income earners having a hard time making ends meet, but those across all income levels. According to research from Lending Club Bank, more than 60% of U.S. consumers now live paycheck to paycheck. Those earning less than $50,000 annually live paycheck to paycheck and increased the most, rising 74% in July 2022 to 78% in July 2023. While those who make more than $100,000 annually and living paycheck to paycheck increased to at least just 1% point in that same period, from 43% to 44%. Well, with school back in session, it's not just parents spending more money on school supplies. Reports are showing teachers are also digging deeper to meet their classroom needs out of pocket. Melissa Rainey has a look at the impact that's creating.
First of all, let's stand up. This back-to-school season, more than 90% of teachers are spending more of their own money on classroom supplies. That's according to the National Education Association, which is the largest teachers union in the U.S. It estimates that during the 2023-2024 academic year, teachers will spend $800 or more out of pocket.
And so for teachers, that's roughly 1 to 2 paychecks every school year they're spending on buying supplies and stepping into the gap for these students.
And inflation is making it harder for teachers to stretch those dollars. Most school supplies have jumped in price, with the cost of crayons, pens, and pencils up nearly 19% year over year. A separate report by Study.com found that nearly 70% of teachers cited persistent inflation as having a noticeable impact on their ability to afford supplies on their own this year.
When notebooks are on sale at Target, and I'd go buy a whole bunch of them, so I'd have them, so when a kid needed it, I just went to the stash that I bought.
And it comes at a time when more teachers are quitting their jobs, citing low salaries and other concerns, which is worsening an ongoing teacher shortage in the U.S. In February 2023, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there were nearly 150,000 more openings in public education than there were hires.
With the high cost of inflation and prices, et cetera, teachers are concerned. And we're seeing all across the U.S. a demand for core essential school supplies.
We'll be right back with more after this, but first, let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Horror movie season is upon us as The Nun creeps back into theaters.
Rick Damigella reports.
What happened? I think there's something here that's not meant to be.
The demonic entity in a sister's habit is back in The Nun 2.
This thing, it's come back for me.
This demon was once an angel. The latest film in the Conjuring universe is the third time for Michael Chavez in the director's chair for the interconnected series of films.
The Conjuring universe is 10 years strong this year. You know, it's been 10 years building up to this moment, and I grew up on horror movies, love horror movies, and when I saw that first movie, that first Conjuring movie, it was like I was watching a horror movie for the first time.
The movie also marks the third appearance of the nun in the series.
The exorcism of Maurice. In Conjuring 2, we realized that possession was actually the demon Valak, and she manifests as a nun in that film. We learn more about her in the Nun spinoff, and this is a continuation of it.
You send that thing back to hell. Watching with the lights on in Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
Nope.
See, the wife loves horror movies, so I have no doubt that I will be going to the theater to go see this. Because, and to be honest, you know, she introduced me to horror movies, and these have been pretty good.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I'm a big chicken. I'd rather not have nightmares.
I don't actually end up having the nightmares from these, but they are interesting. I like the stories in horror movies.
Oh,
the storylines in those horror movies.
Great storylines.
Pretty good. Our storyline for today is more shower and thunderstorm chances. Taking a live look at our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Got a few clouds out there with some showers and thunderstorms just off to the west of Joplin. Slowly pushing off to the east. MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline showing us some clouds, some sun, and that's going to last only so long. And here's a look at those showers and storms lining up from Pittsburgh down to Galena back to Miami. Redevelopment taking place. Look at, they're like little claw marks that have just formed across the area. Meanwhile, that batch of showers and storms that hit that wall in Chinook continuing to die out there, but it is allowing some additional redevelopment now across parts of southeast Kansas. Now, later this evening, we'll have some additional thunderstorm chances, and some of those, this has now been updated. Okay, I'll have to get some new information for you. We have the low end risk for some small hail, but we now have an elevated risk for some severe wind gusts out there. So elevated would mean wind gusts of 60 miles an hour or greater with some of the thunderstorms that we could see later this evening. We'll have another look at your forecast and just how hot it's going to get and how long the heat will last, plus the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. One man is dead after a crash in Woodson County, Kansas. Wayne Faulkner of the 8th Center was northbound on U-75, turning left onto 130th Road when David Harrier of Meridian, Kansas entered the southbound lane to pass a Nissan Pathfinder, which was behind Faulkner. That's when Harrier struck Faulkner's car in the rear left corner, causing it to rotate counterclockwise. Faulkner's passenger front wheel gouged the asphalt, causing the car to overturn multiple times and caused it to rest in an upright position on all four tires in the west ditch. Faulkner was pronounced dead on the scene, while his passenger was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries. Joplin police released the names of 2 people killed in a crash involving 3 motorcycles Saturday night. Police say 2 motorcyclists, 18-year-old Colton Goddard of Welch, Oklahoma, and 20-year-old Taryn Morris of Miami, were recklessly speeding down Main Street when they ran into another motorcyclist, 60-year-old Mark McGowan of Miami. Morris and McGowan died in the crash. Goddard was not hurt, but has been charged with 2 counts of felony murder. Fort Scott National Historic Site Sunday held an exploration of the labors and leisure on the 1840s frontier post. The purpose of the event was to get outside and enjoy the weather for Labor Day while learning some history. It included live music, historic yard games, and a variety of demonstrations and interpretive programs. The park grounds are open daily from a half hour before sunrise until a half hour after sunset. And Halloween is right around the corner, and some of the 4 states is already preparing. The old Katy Hospital in Parsons is being transformed into a haunted house again this year. Project Fear is celebrating its 26th haunt season. They plan to kick off the spooky season on September 29th.
All right, just a quick reminder on our update. So very low tornado risk, but we do have now an elevated severe wind risk. So we're talking wind gusts over 60 miles an hour possible, with showers and thunderstorms expected later this evening. So after about 5 o'clock across the area. So Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy will be here keeping a close eye on that for you. As we look ahead, however, we are going to be hot today. We're talking mid-90s, scattered thunderstorms, and we're going to stay hot through the weekend. Pop-up storms for us Thursday, Friday, Sunday, and Monday, and then cooler and much more fall-like by next week.
Well, there may have been somewhat of a bright side to the drought-plaguing parts of Texas. A series of dinosaur tracks have been uncovered in a drought-stricken riverbed in the state.
Yeah, they were found in Dinosaur Valley State Park in Glen Rose, which is located about an hour and a half south of Dallas. Paleontologists believe the tracks are from around 110 million years ago. They were likely to belong to an, Acrotanthosaurus, that thing, which weighed up to 7 tons, and a Sarpsodian, which weighed around 44 tons.
The retail manager at Dinosaur Valley State Park says he has never seen this many dinosaur tracks. Crews say it will take many days or weeks for the volunteers to remove the sediment covering and filling the tracks.
Why did they pick such complicated names for dinosaurs?
I don't know.
They should have made it much more simplistic. Well, we're going to keep an eye on our thunderstorm chances for this evening and have more news and weather for you today at noon.
Have a great morning and an even better day.